Right, guys, as promised, here's part 2 of Ashley Cole. I don't think there's many arguments about it. You're best left back in the world, right? You could have gone to Real Madrid, Barcelona, and what made you choose Chelsea?
Basically, did not want to leave London.
What did Jose say to you?
Didn't have a meeting with him. Was not going to Chelsea.
All right, so what did he say when you signed?
I remember I stayed at Arsenal for another year, by the way.
Did you?
Yeah.
See, I'm gutted for you, Ash, because Steve Sidwell got invited round to his house and everything.
No.
Got to meet his wife.
We sneaked in and scared his wife.
Got the full treatment, the number 9.
Yeah, he got the number 9. So did you cross over at all when Sids was number 9 there? So you would have.
We played.
Yeah,
we were together.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we were together there.
So you signed for Chelsea, right? How was it stepping out Stamford Bridge the first time? Were you nervous I suppose not nervous of the reaction there, but did you feel like eyes were all on you, and were you proud? And just describe those feelings. It's a big move.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. Didn't obviously go for big money. It was like more of a swap deal and 5 mil, but it was nerve-wracking because again, I felt like you're half starting again, you're half becoming a new player. You know, you're making your debut for a new team. It is hard to make everyone happy. I came there with a bit of a broken ankle as well, which I played through because I wanted to just play, and it hindered me for about a year really. So they didn't really see the best of me in that first year. There's me and Bridgie who was competing, who Bridgie again was a top class player.
Yeah, of course.
Quality left back. So I did find it hard, and obviously they favoured him over me because of kind of shitstorm the club went through.
Ash, he's been on this podcast as well. You know, he's a dear friend of the pod, and when he's been on, he's described his experiences. You know, I guess Chelsea and England of obviously being in the same team as you, and it's just incredible that even a player of his standard and reputation in the game, what you've gone on to achieve, you know, and what you both had, 2 special players. It feels.
Yeah, and we had a good relationship. It was. I learned that from obviously my time at Arsenal with, you know, people like Silvinho, who, yes, I was playing ahead of him, but he made my life so much easier with he's sharing his experiences with me and helping me become a better person, become a better player. And I always felt like if I ever come out of a team, I'm never going to be a hater. I'm going to try work harder to stay in there, but I'm never going to begrudge a player that takes my spot. I'm going to really, really work hard. And me and Bridgie had that kind of relationship where I'm not saying I was happy when he played ahead of me, but I had a lot of mutual respect where no problem. I see the way he trains. He's
did it make you a better player, do you reckon? Do you think it sort of contributed to your growth?
I think it always keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
You know, you can never have days off, if you want to call it that, in training, because, you know, you had a manager at the time, Jose, where if you're not playing well or training well, he's more than happy to just take you out.
Yeah.
So you had to train at high elite level to continue to keep the shirt, basically.
How hard was the first few years at Chelsea for you? Because you'd had Jose, then Avram Grant, then Scolari, then Hiddink.
Yeah.
So that's 4 managers in, that'd have been like 2 years.
Check, near enough.
So would it been under Hiddink that you probably felt?
No, Scolari.
Still then, yeah? Before that, Scolari.
Scolari was, for me, unbelievable.
Really?
It was obviously I think he just left the Brazil national team.
Yeah.
From start of the season basically until January, we was playing like Brazil.
Really?
Me on the left, Bosinga on the right, both attack at the same time. I think you had Deco in midfield with Lamps.
Yeah. I just left. I left that
I
pre-season.
think we got pumped 6-0 in the first game at Portsmouth.
It might have been, you know.
Was it?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we had all our plan. We looked like it was Deco. I thought he was the best player in the world. I said, I think I've seen the best player in the world.
You should have seen first training session. Yeah. He was illegal. He got like literally a ripple.
A ripple, yeah. Well, first game of the season, that's it. We played you, Portsmouth at Stamford Bridge, and I was like, he's the best player I've ever seen ever.
He was scary, mate.
Oh,
scary. Only plays with his studs. putting it through people's legs.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Scolari. I think I felt good.
Yeah.
I felt good.
Yeah.
Did he make you feel good? Did he have a conversation with you to go, like...
Well, Jose, I played a little bit more from position, right?
Yeah.
You know, as attacking as I was at Arsenal, I go to Chelsea and is a little bit more defensive and play from position. Ash play from position, defend first, attack second, and I was always attack first, but I'll defend second. And now Scolari was similar ways: attack first, defend second. Sometimes you don't even really have to defend.
Yeah.
And Bosingo, you do the same, which was delightful for me. And I felt good. Even in pre-season, I felt, I can enjoy playing under him. But then we just blew a gasket, Jan. We were always doing these like little possessions and small-sided games. We didn't get the capacity to be fit, and we just blew up.
How did you deal with, like, there's few clips of like you dealing with Ronaldo, for instance, and that must be, you know, when you're going into, like, when you're at Derby as, you know, as a coach, or the under-21s, you know, when like a fullback or something like that, if you can just go like, look at me against Ronaldo here, like surely that must earn so much respect for the young lads. And like, how did you deal with him? And how, like, he's the best player that we've ever seen, one of three maybe.
Yeah, it's tough. There's so many elements to it. It's not just like, you know, you're going up against him 1v1, because if it's 1v1, he would kill me, because he can go left, he can go right, he's quicker than me. So I certainly understood his strengths and his weaknesses, and then, you know, utilise my teammates by going, whether it's JT, you've got to, when I go out quick, you've got to cover my back. Like, if he knocks it past me, you have to be there. Or Essien or Lamps, like, if he drives inside, I'm going to give him enough space where Lamps, you've got to be across. Or the wingers, you've got to drop down sometimes, like certain scenarios, right? And moments where if I can't get there and be isolated 1v1, then Malouda, you have to sprint back down and you have to help me. There's no way I could deal with a Messi or Ronaldo 1v1. It's just impossible, because they've got the ability to go inside and open the pitch.
And is that where you think maybe your tactical brain, even as a player, came in there? Like, you're aware, even as a young lad, you're still aware of the tactics of dealing with these players. Yeah,
that was for me key, because I call them mentors, but people like Tony Adams and Martin, is that voice. They had me, Tony had me on a joystick, right? Go left, go right, go forward,
left shoulder,
come close. And I learned to do that. I learned that behaviour and felt, he don't even run. He's an old man and he don't run anymore. He don't get exposed behind.
You doing the running.
Because I'm doing the running. Yeah. So why am I going to run? I get
the ghost of Tony Adams in your brain when you're defending against Cristiano Ronaldo.
But I think it's an art lost now, because they were so vocal and loud and positive reinforcements all the time. And they don't really speak that much no more, these young guys.
Well, obviously you're with the 21s with Lee Carsley, so you're dealing with the young players all the time. Like, no better to help these young lads, certainly like a fullback or centre-half, for instance. How much do they take on board, and has it changed, and is it harder because players aren't as vocal anymore?
Yeah, I learned quickly that I can't coach a left-back to be Ashley Cole. We're going to be different, right? We're going to have different attributes, we're going to have different strengths and weaknesses, and I learned that quite quickly. So it is more identifying what Peter Crouch, what you're good at, what your strengths are, and then trying to adapt that in a game, and giving you maybe 3 principles to work from, like principles of how you defend. You know, positioning first, timing to get out, and then delay or aggressive or intercept. So they're kind of 3 basics that I would teach a left back of where the ball is. More principles and values of how you defend, instead of going, you've got to sprint out at every moment. We are different. You know, we can't get low. I'm quite small, but I can't tell you to sprint out and expect to turn and sprint back. You're built different. We're not the same. So every position now, I hate even coaching defending. I'm attack.
But
just one thing I just want to say about Ronaldo. I remember, you won't remember this. I remember when we played Old Trafford, on the bus, it was either going from the training ground up to Manchester or leaving the hotel, go into the stadium, and you'd have the iPad and you'd be watching clips of just Ronaldo right?
Really?
All different clips that the analysis have done for him, and you'd be watching like little traits. So, and I'd be sitting there going, why are you watching this? And he'll go, right. So when he gets the ball here, he's most likely to do this. So he looks for his like little movements in his feet. So I said to him, so do you know, like when Ronaldo used to stand there and just do a million fucking step overs and this and that? He go, I'm not even watching his feet. I'm just watching the ball because the ball don't move. The ball doesn't move. His feet can do what he wants. If I watch the ball, I just stay with the ball the whole time.
But I remember watching a clip of that when he's doing these 100 step overs and you dive in and bite at him and get it.
It is hard. Look, there's different scenarios where, like I said, I certainly had a process of how I defend opponents, and it kind of all changes. You know, the principles change against maybe a Dirk Kuyt, who was a stronger player. You know, stays on the side a little bit more, and they want to find him with the diagonal balls. I could afford sometimes to be a little bit wider. And detach from my centre back because I know he ain't really going to beat. He's fast, but he ain't going to beat me behind. So I can be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm not going to stop him heading the ball, but I'm going to affect him. But where you against Ronaldo, who can get it to his feet, he's always more often than not going to have close control, and he's going to drive at you with speed. He can go left and right. He does that again. You don't want to look silly. He does, you know, the step overs, and so again that always. My principles always change. Or against Aaron Lennon, like he won't affect the game, but he'll get it and he'll drive all the way across the pitch, and he looks like he's having an amazing game, and he actually isn't. But on the eye and in the crowd, I can't get near him because he just gets it and he goes across the pitch. But he's not coming into my area, so I certainly understood how to defend against different opponents and how do I stop my direct opponent being really effective. So Scholes, he's got the ball.
Yeah.
I might make it, I'm going to sprint out to Ronaldo. I'm not, because I know Ronaldo can run behind me, but it just gives now Paul Scholes something to think about.
Yeah, go on.
Like I say, let's not forget, obviously, we've been chatting, and a lot of people's perception of Ash is like a great player, gets forward, scores goals, you know, attacking wise, but he would nail people as well. Like, he had a horrible, like, I've seen him, like, decapitate people. Like, wow. Where did you, like, obviously you said like earlier on, you were small, you was like slight. When was it when you just thought, like, I can nail people as well?
It was
your tackles was
it was that low. Like from the youth teamy days.
Okay.
You know, I'm playing against bigger players.
Yeah.
I'm playing up an age group, playing the odd reserve game. I had to like find a way not to be buoyed off. And that was it. I didn't have the gob at the start because, again, I tried to be like humble. I was a really, really shy kid, so I don't know how to shit talk or whatever. Yeah. So how can I be effective in my position at being such a small frame was got her emptier.
Get close.
Got to let
There's
you
a lot
know.
of short kings though that will be listening to this. You know, like I'm one of them. To be fair, you're not actually that short, Ash. I thought, you know, you keep saying that, but I think you are. Yeah. But I think you'd think of people like Dennis Wise as well. You live in examples of, you know, if you're a bit shorter listening to this, you can still, you know, everyone's the same size when they're on the deck, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's true though, and that was the kind of mentality I kind of adhere to, really.
But I listen to you now, right? And I genuinely feel, I've been in football my whole life as well, but I still feel like I'm actually learning the left back role now from you. Like, you've got so much, it's obvious you've got so much to give. Like, tactically, you're so aware of like systems, formations, where players should be, helping young players. There'll be young lads out there now and girls. Certainly at the fullback position, because that's all you've just touched on now, and we've scratched the surface because I've spent a lot of time with you. There's a lot of stuff here you like to talk about, and that is, someone needs to be tapping into that. And like, I know that England under 21s, and you've gone with the full team with Lee Carsley, and you're enjoying working with. But is there some part of you that wants to go on a bit further and maybe do it yourself and be like, and be a manager and, you know, have your own ideas and get your own identity into a team?
Yeah, for sure. I think from when I retired and had, you know, you have a little bit of a 5-year plan of where you want to get to on your coaching journey. I think my first coaching journey was against City. Would have been right.
What?
Up against you at Brighton.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
sorry, I was zoned out.
I get that a lot on more people.
No.
But from going up against City under 15s or whatever to
So who are you coaching there? Who were
Was
Chelsea? You were at Chelsea under 15s. You're at Brighton under 15s.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you have your 5-year plan there. That's what they tell you, on your badges. Try to get a 5-year plan. Let's focus. And
How are you with the plan at the minute?
I'm probably ahead in parts. Some parts, I think, it's unattainable. You couldn't get to that. It's hard to get to that because you have to go through processes to get your badges anyway. So it's quite hard to get to where, in my head, I thought I would be. I'm ahead of that. Let me try make sense of it. I'm ahead of it, but I'm not ahead of it, if that makes sense. So I was like, I want to be a manager in 5 years, but not knowing that it takes a year to get a B license, a year to get an A license. It's impossible for me to hit that. But the experience I've had since the 5 years, under 15s at Chelsea, then under 16s at Chelsea, then I'll go to Everton as an assistant, third assistant or third or fourth coach. Then I go England under 21s, took myself out of my comfort zone, went for the job as a number one because my mentor coach at Chelsea wanted to push me and said, go, put yourself out there. I go for the interview. I was nowhere near qualified to get the number one job, and then have 2 hours with Carsley, who got the job, and then we gelled like that, and then to have that experience, to go to a Euros, to win, to see how it works, and then to come back, to go to Birmingham, go through I think 4 or 5 managers, understand how they all work in different ways, and while I'm in the job, I'm still learning myself of, okay, I like that, okay, don't like that part, yeah, I'm going to be like that, I'm going to use that. We're all thieves, right? Coaches, I'm going to take sessions and words and sometimes a personality. And I'm like, okay, I'm molding myself into where I want to be. Then go back to Chelsea with Frank, then go to the England seniors. I'm now 5 years down the line. I'm like, I think I'm there. I don't think I can get more experience than I have. I've gone through relegation battles, relegation fights. The only thing people might say is you've not been a head coach before. And I'm like, well, we ask these players. My point is we ask players we throw them in. Young boy, no experience. We go on, there you go. Play, we trust you. All you need is a CEO, sporting director go, I like what you say, Ash.
Yeah.
I like your enthusiasm. I like your hunger to work and win, and you've got clear ideas on how you want to play and how you are as a coach or as a manager, and your staff you bring with you, how that looks in that environment, in a day-to-day environment, and go, I'll give you an opportunity. Because it's hard, right? There's really experienced managers out there that can't also get a job. So I'm not sitting here going, I have to have a job. Certainly not. But the one where they go experience. Sometimes sometimes experience doesn't work. Sometimes you might need a fresh face that goes, boom, hungry, ready, determined to succeed and win. So who knows?
And it feels like you've done your apprenticeship, right? You're doing your apprenticeship. You've gone about it the right way. You've worked with some really good managers. You've seen some mistakes. But you haven't been making those mistakes yourself. Like obviously you've been coaching, you've been in and around it, but you're just feeding and learning, and eventually it'll happen.
So that would be the difference, right? That I've not lived the number one feeling and emotion, because as a number 2, as a number 3, of course we know the manager's feeling it, where we're like, okay, it's another day we lost. Okay, how can we change it? You're thinking, trying to strategize, but when you're the head coach, it's tough.
Yes, you need the right club with the right ambition to take that punt. But as you say, it's happened with you as a footballer. So really, what's the difference? Yeah. Do you sort of believe in manifesting these things, or do you just kind of go with the flow and see where it takes you?
Yeah, well, that was the idea when you start, when you're on your badges and they go, what's your 5-year plan? How are you going to manifest your way through that? It's quite hard. So yeah, I don't really manifest and think about it. I just know I need to work hard.
Do you see yourself England head coach down the line?
No. So no. If I'm brutally honest, no.
Really?
I hope one day.
That disappoints me.
But it's your taste for it, right? When you were doing a job there with Lee Carsley, like you're around now the England team again, like that you must have got a bit of a bug for it.
Oh no, it was amazing. It was amazing and daunting, to be fair, because you do go into a dressing room that some of them I've never coached. So,
what were the players like with you?
Amazing.
Like, did they? I imagine. I would hope that there would be a lot of respect from players. That obviously, Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, players in their own right achieving amazing things, but I'm sure there was a great deal of respect for you.
No, they was amazing, absolutely amazing. It was humbling actually, and they were like, I said to them like how humble they were, because sometimes we all know it's not just about a name, right? I didn't go in there feeling or thinking they have to respect me. It don't work like that in football, that, and I made it clear to them. My career is done. I'm not gonna talk about myself. I will try talk about myself in terms of my experiences or what I felt and how I dealt with stuff in certain games and what we're going to experience in games. But I'm not going to tell you how to play football because I'm over. I'm done. When I say tell you how to play football, I'm going to coach you, of course, but I'm not going to keep talking about my career.
But that's how you're getting judged now. You're getting judged as a coach.
But I want that.
Yeah. Of course.
I want that. But after that first, when you're doing your first meeting and they look at you like, okay, you're Ashley Cole, ex-player. Yeah, you sat in this chair, but how are you going to make me better?
And players are ruthless, right?
Yeah,
they smell a rat. If you don't know what you're talking about, straight away they'll be on it.
So I don't know how they reacted to that, but speaking to them after and seeing how they performed and the performances they gave us, that showed me I respected them way more. I respected them so much because they'd done everything we asked of them, and that's all you could do as a coach.
What I found as well, just watching the games as well, Ash, like it felt like the way you talk and the way it was almost like yourself and Lee's identity was on those games, and you stayed true to what your beliefs were, and you played the way you wanted to play.
For sure, that was we'd done it in the 21s. We had the belief that we feel this country has produced some top players and we want them to win. Not that we should win, because we've not won anything in, 66 was the last time we won it. So this is what fans have to understand. We are not a nation of winning. We've won one. So we need to be humble and respect that and understand that. But we are producing players good enough to win it. So now the next part is, how do we give the players the belief and the focus and the personality to go, we need to go to the next level. And there is a bit of what the manager coaches and gives, but you got to look at yourself as well. And we gave them that, and we said, come on, to win you have to be humble, you have to run, you have to have ego, you have to show a bit of ego, you need a mold, a mix of everything. But as coaches here, we believe you can win.
But just on to when you were playing for England as well, Ash, like why didn't we win then? What was your take on it? You were a big part of the gold generation, if you like. What was it?
Well, I think everyone... Look, I think it's, again, a mixture of a lot of things. Was it too many egos? And I'm not contradicting myself in what I say here. I'll give you context to it. So, egos, you need egos, right? All the best players, all the best sportsmen, CEOs, they have a bit about them that's different, that makes them different and makes them elite. We had that ingredient. Did we compromise as a group and go, well, we all can't play how we think or feel or have played before in one team? That doesn't work. We had Scholes, we had Stevie G, you got Lamps, you got Wazza that drops down and plays balls behind, you had Bex that gets it off Gaznev, so super low and deep and hits long balls. There you go, there's 4 players that their key attribute is final passes. And now
you need to drop one of them. You need to drop some of those. You need to play. You feel like you need to sacrifice some of those great players,
or one of the players or 2 of the players have to sacrifice the way they play. But again, I'm not blaming the players there because they was never told you have to sacrifice the way you play, and now you become a different player. Were players, would they accept that? I don't know. And if they didn't accept it, that's when I go. And it's a bold statement, and you need balls. But you go, well, if you're not playing and fitting into my style and the way I want to play, then you have to sacrifice or you have to sit on the bench. It's not about the coach. It's not about the manager. It's about the team and winning. And you can't, I'm not saying you can't win with a bunch of individuals. I'm not saying that, but it's really, really hard. It's really hard to win with 11 individuals that have the same traits and characteristics and want to do the same thing. It's hard. And again, the other part of that, we played against some amazing teams, which I think the Brazilian teams, the Italian teams, Argentina.
That's always a point.
There is that.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of factors that I felt, caused us not to win. But again, I think maybe we're not a little bit honest, or we just don't see it. We've not seen it, or spoke about it.
Yeah, I think looking at it, I think back then it was, if you're not in the starting 11, it was a failure. And then you're on the bench, you weren't sulking, but it was a case of, and then when they come on, they just come on and played. Obviously, they tried to play well. Whereas I think now it's a case of, it's like 14, 15 players. If you're not in the starting 11, then
more like
the
a club,
next three they're coming to make an impact. Like you're like majorly involved.
Yeah,
that's why I look at it.
How do you look back on your England career, Ash? Like, do you feel like maybe there was? I felt personally like you were our best player for the whole 5 years I was involved in the England team. And when I say the best player, listen, there might be Stevie might win as a game and he'd be man of the match, of course. But I'm talking consistently. I don't think you ever had a bad game. I can think of.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah.
No, do you know? If I'm honest.
Do you think there's a lack of respect, is what I'm saying?
I don't. Is there? I don't know. Look, when you get people like you and City is talking now, then I'm happy with that. Like, I don't need love and appreciation from everyone else. When I hear it from individuals that I've played with, that makes me, and that's the player I was, that makes me more happy because I feel, obviously, you understand the game more than fans. Is a fact, right? So that gives me more satisfaction hearing it from my peers or players that's been around me and seen me in moments, where I've gone to battle with players. I find that more satisfying. So that never affected me, but I still felt I did not play to my full potential for England.
Really?
Because I felt what I just said. I felt I sacrificed everything. I was a attacking fullback. Didn't really attack for England. Did not really attack. So, I run, I don't get the ball, I run back. Whereas when I play for Arsenal and Chelsea, I run, I get the ball. And now I'm in and around the edge of the box, and now I'm creating or crossing or trying to get a shot off. That dynamic changed.
Just a couple of ones, right? Just a couple of your penalties for England, right? Where you're rolling them in, like some high pressure penalties there. And you're not a penalty taker, right? But talk us through that moment when you're like, what was the highest pressure penalty? Like it was a couple.
And Chelsea, by the way.
Yeah, and Chelsea, yeah. Talk us through those penalties.
So my first one would have been, I've always put my hand up first and foremost. I'm like, I want to take it. I want to not be a hero, but I want to try help the team win. I want to help be successful. I always know there's a pitfall for that, and criticism can come, and I had when I have missed, but I try to put that in the back of your head and focus on, can I help my team win? And the pressure is something that you can't explain to someone because you've got 90 minutes plus extra time, cramping in both calves that you normally always get after extra time, or I do. Both calves, both hammies, groins, the long walk from the halfway line with the ball in your hand. And
can you talk us through which scenario here where you're talking about? Which ones that comes to your mind?
The one. Well, I've got two really. The one I scored against Bayern Munich for the Champions League final, and then I go probably a month later, I miss against Italy in the Euros, I think it was. So I go from, of course, nervous walking up, thinking, you're in Bayern Munich's backyard. We missed the first penalty. We're down. Then Peter Cech saves one. I'm like, oh. Okay, I could get us back in the game here. He's a giant. He's Neuer. Smash it, he jumps up, whacks the crossbar, all like the rained. It's all coming off the crossbar.
Feels pretty vivid, this memory.
Jesus.
It's incredible, isn't it?
cramp everywhere. Like, you know, as you're walking, you put the ball down, I feel a little twinge in my groin, and then you're like, oh. Then you stand up as if you're focused, and then you get a little bit in your calf, and then you got fans behind, and they're waving. He's whacking the bar, and you're like, where do I go? Because, like you mentioned, I'm not a penny taker. I'm just off the cuff.
Oh, so you didn't think that one through before? It wasn't a routine.
I never do. I just put the ball down. I've got like a little stance, but I kind of like I wait for the goalie, but I don't wait for the goalie. I have no process. I'm just like, yeah, I might put it that way. I might change. No, but it's cost me. I might change. I always say I'm going to go down the middle. Is the best penalty. The goalie's always going to dive, and I've never gone down the middle. And then, yeah, I'm just like, do you know what? The day before I did whip one in the bottom corner, I'm going to stick with that. And he waited because he felt I was going to go down the middle. So I'm like, let me just whip it. And then I whip it, and it goes in, and you're like, oh, good. Fast forward maybe a month in the Euros, Buffon in goal, just wrap one in the bottom corner. He ain't going to read what I'm going to do. Surely, and now I'm second guessing myself, but I'm second guessing him. He ain't going to think I'm going to go there after I've just gone there a month ago. Nah, he's going to dive the other way, or he'll stand. And by the time he does that, I'll have enough speed on the ball to get it in the bottom corner. So I'm like, as I'm running out, I'm like, he's not moving, he's not shuffling, he's not going anywhere. But I'm like, I'm going to go that way. Have to go that way, that same side. And I go that side, he saves it, and then after he goes, I didn't know where you was going, but then someone sent me a clip of your penalty in the Champions League final. And I'm like, yeah, why did I do that? I should know. He's watched that. I should have just gone down.
Yeah, you're doing it for the same reason you're saying.
Exactly.
You thought
Exactly.
guessing it.
This is the mind game
Yeah.
that you have.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's hard.
Great.
It's super hard.
Right, Ash, listen, I've got to say, I could talk to you all day.
Yeah.
And, you know, as much as I've played with you, it's just so great listening to. I'm not going to sit you down, you know, at a family barbecue and grill you about your career, you know. So it's nice to be able to do it. And, you know, one of the most decorated English footballers like of all time, you know, and but still humble and still trying to give back in football, really. So it's a pleasure having you on.
Thank
really
you.
is, mate.
Always a pleasure with you guys.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Right, do you sit on the toilet backwards sometimes? Or
It's back to reality.
reverse cowgirl.
It would be good to get your thoughts on this very briefly.
Go on.
So
What the hell
it's
is
become
that?
quite a big thing on this podcast.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. Someone said, why do we always sit on the toilet like when you walk in and you sit on it, whereas you could go straight in and look out the window, you know? Like front on, it's like reverse the toilet session.
But I'll be looking at a wall.
Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't do it in that situation, but, you know, if
You
you
could
put...
rest your head on the wall.
Yeah, you've got a little shelf there, haven't you?
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
put something on. And anyway, I was saying, I sort of suggested that a couple of people do this, and it sort of blew the boys' brains just because they'd never thought of landing on the loo like this. And it seems that a lot of people listening to this podcast have also joined in.
Yeah.
Sidebar, Ash, there was a whole other bit about people that need to take off all their clothes to have a shit. I don't know if you're one of those people.
We've got one there, by the way.
No, I don't go fully starkers.
No.
But I'm
some
going down
people-
to the pants.
Yeah.
Pants and
But
socks.
even if you're in this, you're not taking your t-shirt off, are you?
I wouldn't do a toilet, a number 2, out of my house.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'm
Yeah,
not going in a
that's
restaurant and
another
doing a no.
Yeah. Because
of that reason.
like Jamie. All right, then, should we get into a couple of messages, if you don't mind, Ash, while we've got you here? Hi, Peter, Chris, and Sids, and of course, Ashley. Love the pod. You were the soundtrack to my daily jogs around South London during COVID, and I'm glad to still be listening today. I've got a story for you that I thought you might enjoy. My fiancée recently attended her work Christmas party. She was recounting the evening to me when she mentioned that a man from her team was hitting on her throughout the night. No, I'm not sending you a photo of my missus.
That's what you're thinking, though, Sids, isn't it?
I might not carry on reading, actually. Anyway, the story really got interesting when she revealed to me that the flirtatious man's surname is Chatswell. Sadly, first name's not Steve. This obviously got me thinking about whether I could create a flirting 11.
Oh, great.
So this is an 11 that was involved in flirting, Ash. Okay. Peta, I'll pay the check. Kyle, walk her home. Soulmate Campbell.
Nice.
Rob holding hands. Danny Rose. Midfielder Steve Chatswell. Hoping to pulse goals. Michael Tong kissing. Sadio Gently Mane. Emil out Heskey.
Emil, yeah.
Stuart going towning. Managed by Eric Teng Hugs. I'd like to stay anonymous, if that's okay, he says.
That's actually top quality, that.
That's good.
To be honest, there's some of them, they're always good.
Yeah.
They don't get on
I
unless
would like
they're
to be in people's brains who think of these questions, by the way.
Yeah. They love it. Right, hi to me, Peter, Bonfire and Lasagna Boy. I was coming back from a recent Welsh game with my friend and we were discussing what makes good managers. This would be good for you, Ash. Now that Ruud van Nistelrooy has taken charge of Leicester, we got on the topic of do strikers make good managers? Casting our minds back, we were struggling to remember many strikers who became world-class successful managers. The main one I could think of was Kenny Dalglish. This made us think of their selfish nature preventing them from becoming successful and lacking the man management when it comes to the beautiful game. A little like the lack of past goalkeepers who become great managers, as you talked about previously. We thought it'd be a good topic to discuss. All the best, Alan. Where you stand on that, Ash? Does a position of a player, if you think about it, there isn't loads of strikers who've been top managers.
Yeah, it's a good point. And goalies.
A lot of strikers become pundits, but then again, that falls into the argument of the kind of look at me mentality, selfishness. Yeah.
So let's go through strikers then. Come on, strikers.
Manager-wise,
yeah, it's gone into management. Alan
would you
Shearer
class
tried to give
Zola?
it a go. Zola. Craig Bellamy, he's involved.
Craig
now.
Bellamy doing well now.
Yeah. Thierry Henry.
Thierry, yeah.
He's done some good jobs, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Les Ferdinand's kind of director of football, isn't he?
Who else?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. The defensively, there's a lot more managers.
Yeah.
There is, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think that's definitely something to do with understanding the structure of a team.
Maybe.
I would say.
Always seeing it from behind.
Yeah.
Do you believe defenders are a better candidate for captain generally than strikers?
Well, they are selfish, aren't they, strikers?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all.
Yeah, I do think they are. Yeah.
One other thing, Ash, just sprung to my mind before we go. You got a lot of grief for throwing a pizza at Alex Ferguson for a long time, right? But Fabregas has come out and said it was him. Like, how did you take that on the chin? You got caught up in that, and did you throw one?
No, I didn't.
No.
No, look at me sitting here humble. I promise. Do you know what? I would never do that. I would have threw it at a player. If it was a player there, I would have threw it at a player, but not him.
Is that the strangest rumour you've ever heard about yourself then?
No.
No.
Those that we probably can't speak.
Very, very quickly then, whilst we're wrapping things up, that famous photo of you with Roma. Yeah.
Go on.
Just please, just talk. It's one of my favourite things ever.
So we spent like an hour training. So I can't remember where we were. It was in America somewhere, in the United States. And we trained at an American football training ground. And before training, because I was like, I don't know, the English one, and I could speak English, I was talking to the American footballer who it was. I can't remember, he was like a legend quarterback. So I spent like an hour before training, warming up with this guy, doing tricks and that, taking long shots over the, what do you call them, sticks, bar, whatever, the goal. Then I trained, and then again I had to do loads of interviews with the American media, and then we're having a team photo. Now I'm like, I just want to get out of here. It's fucking like 40 degrees, I'm hot, I'm tired, my feet are killing. I just want to go in the cold bath, go back to the hotel and go to sleep. So we have a team photo. So we're doing loads of photos, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And then they go, okay, we're done. But then they went, oh, no, hold on. A player went, oh, hold on. Let me get a picture for his phone. Yeah. So basically it was like, I couldn't be bothered. It was done. Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, let's go. That's why my body position was like that.
Oh, no way.
It's a great photo.
We've got to do this for our photo for the podcast.
It's an absolute belter.
I've seen myself on tanks.
You enjoyed that, like the Rome experience and the LA experience.
Was amazing. Was amazing just to understand the different culture, people, different type of football, different lifestyle. And Rome was amazing. Then went to LA, and again enjoyed a little bit more of a peaceful lifestyle, calming one. Still with great weather. And then I came back and went Derby for the last 6 months, didn't I? Freezing cold it was there. Jesus. Nightmare.
All right, Ash, listen, absolute pleasure
Thank
again.
you very
mate.
much for having
me.
Brilliant, man.